G'day guys, we're back with Build Business Central in 7 days. We're up to video 4. I originally had a vision that these would be 30-minute videos. They're 1-hour videos, so I do apologize. Hopefully you can play this at 1.5 times the speed and you at least get through it. There's a lot of content we're dumping in here. Let's get into it. Our first video was about the admin center, spinning up production, spinning up your first company, manual setups, the overarching strategy, what do we need to know. Video 2 was financial foundations and posting setups and getting through the manual setup through the finance tabs. Video 3 was all of the rest of the tabs that are relevant to get our little wholesale business up and running. We're now on video 4. We've got a burn test. We've created ourselves customers, and we've got ourselves an item, and we've got ourselves a vendor as well. I'm currently sitting in business manager role, so I'm just gonna refresh here, and let's now get into this. So some of the things that I've noticed is that the item itself, I created an item, and when I created it, I had a picture of my fat head. So I changed it for this shirt just here, just so you're aware. I changed a few things and updated a few things, so we're ready for today. But let's just say that I want some more items in here. Now, there's one way you can do that, what's called a config package. And there are videos on our YouTube channel about how to do a config pack. I've created one here for items. I just called it items, JC items. I like to put JC in front of it for me because I work on a team with 15 people. The config packs gets a little complicated and I know what are mine, nice and simple. I put my table ID in here. In here, you've got every table of data in the system and you've got every column that's available. So there's currently 167 fields. I could click on here and filter it. We're not going to go too much detail, but if you export this to Excel, it will come out in a format that we can use. So it has 2 header lines, and then it goes into your row headers, and then you've got the data. This isn't a live file, it's a download snapshot. You edit what you want, and then we file upload and put it back in the system. Now, the reason why we don't change the columns, we don't change the colors, we don't muck about with the file and move stuff about. The reason for this is because this file, let's just close it, is a XML document. Now, what do I mean by that is I've downloaded a few config packs here. One of them I renamed from XLSX into zip. Why? Because when Microsoft went from using XLS files for Excel, they went to an X on the end. It means a compressed file. You can try this on your own computer. If you get rid of, there's a setting here within your options and view, and it's hide extensions for known file types. If you do that, rename a Word docx file, any of the X files from Microsoft, they're just a zip file and they've got data and structures in them. Why, when Business Central uses this for XML, do we not bastardize it and fiddle with it? Because you'll break it. So please keep it clean, keep it simple, and we will be fine. Next thing for you to think about, other than a config pack, is for us to use what we call edit in Excel. Now, you may have to install this extension. You just go to App Source and you install Microsoft Dynamics Office add-in, and it's free. And you just make sure you install that for everyone. It might take 3-4 minutes in the admin center. You need to be a global administrator to pull that one off. All right, let's go do edit in Excel and I'll show you how this works. So I've now logged in. The first time you load this, the bar up the top will turn yellow and you've got to hit enable. Then it's going to pop up and ask you to log in. So you need to put your Office 365 permissions in. Once you're done, this little widget here does everything for you. It's really cool. So I have here an Excel file which has some product data that we're going to bring in, and I have here data live in the system. So let's just go back and let's copy those columns, right click, copy, and I'm just going to go straight back here and right click and paste the values. So we've now got some files. I'm going to take every field in this Excel file, copy it, drag down and paste. So I've copied everything. All right, I'm going to go back to my file. You'll see a few other columns here. I've got a category. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste that in my categories. Whoops. There we go. So we're going to fix that up. I'm going to go back to my file and get my cost prices. So let's go look for cost. And here it is, just the unit price. And it's back here, I think. There it is. Again, I want to paste it without formatting. So I'm just going to use that 1, 2, 3. And let's get our sell prices. And let's go over here to our sell price. I'm going to delete all these profit percentages because if you leave them there, it's going to throw an error. And here's our sale price, and I'm just going to copy that and paste. So we've got ourselves some items. The search terms may bugger up as well. I'm going to delete them. I don't want to have them there, but I could have 1,000 items right now. And let's just see, this should work. I should be able to go publish. Yes. Wait for it. And if you're batching 1,000 items in, it's going to go uploading 100, uploading 200, uploading 300, and it'll do it 100 at a time. Now we're done. We've got our items. Let's just refresh. There we go. Booyah. Got a whole heap of stuff that just loaded in. And so this is just some items I asked ChatGPT to come up with. If I turn around and change this to tool tiles or tiles, it's going to give me a picture for every item. Now, I want the images. So what I decided to do is get ourselves a zip file with all the images just there. So back in our inventory setup, okay, we've got under the general, you've got your import item pictures, and I can hit that button and it's going to allow me to drag and drop that sucker straight over there. There we go. Wait for it. And it says, there they all are. Replace pictures, yes. And I just hit import, done. And like that, I just brought a whole heap of images in to Business Central, just like that. Is that pretty cool? So getting into your data, mucking about with the system, there are some ways that you can get in and start busting out some moves. All right, I'm back here and we've got our items, as we can see. There they are, and they look great. And I can go take a look at my items. I've got my customer that I've added before. Now, to help with my customer, a couple of things that we didn't think about before. One of the things might have been what we refer to as ship to locations. So if this customer has multiple addresses, I could say this is their HQ, okay? And we might say also that this is their spare office, and I'm just gonna change the address slightly. I can choose my location I'm gonna ship to this customer's address out of to set the defaults in the system. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you got a few features there that are free to use. We do have a CRM module here, so I'm gonna take you through a demo of the system. We're going to do a opportunity, a quote, sales order, don't have stock, so we're going to purchase, we're going to receive it, put it away, go to the sales order, ship it, and at the same time, what we're going to do by duplicating this window, we're going to look at the finance chart of accounts, and one of the things you'll notice is nothing's happened here. I got nothing going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter my chart of accounts by what we refer to as the net change. So just hit filter, and I'm going to say greater or less than 0. So blank, nothing's happened. So it's plain system. As soon as I do anything, it's going to start appearing. You ready? Let's do this. I'm not going to change my role to the sales and relationship manager. Okay. I'm going to just hotspot into opportunities just by searching opportunities and see how this, whoops, wrong one. Let's do this again. Opportunities, I'm interested in the list. Now you notice the list appears as a card If I refresh the screen now, it's going to appear embedded into the window. So if you ever see me doing that when I'm doing a bit of a demo, and I'm going to bookmark this, so it's here on my home screen. So if I go home, I've got my opportunities there. All right, let's create an opportunity. All right, what do we have here? We have a description, sell some shirts. All right, who's my contact? Contacts are separate from the customer. So against Shirt Co. vendor or test customer, we have a contact individual as well as the company record as well. So I'm going to go to this contact. We've got ourselves some details, and you'll notice that there's no salesperson. So we missed this the other day. So let's back out a little bit, and I'm going to type sales people purchases. I'm going to add myself as Jared. All right, and you'll notice that the dimension also fills in as that person, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I've added ourselves a salesperson, but I'm going to go into the user settings, user setup, and in here, this is where we determine what every user in the organization can do. And there's a few little tricks here. Do they have access to payroll and time sheeting? But here, what's the salesperson purchaser code? Let me show you how that applies now. So I'm going to escape out. I'm going to delete this opportunity, escape out and refresh the screen because we've changed the settings. So we do a reload. Head back into opportunities. I'm going to create new, and let's just say this is selling some shirts. And I've got a contact number, and we're back off where we were before, but now I've got a salesperson code. If we look at the opportunity, all right, we're already at a point where we've got a few things going on here. Number one, you can do campaigns. You can then do discounts to campaigns. You can email people in campaigns. So there's a few features there. You can track emails against contacts and a whole heap of other things. Not a lot of customers use that, but out of the box for basic opportunities, this thing does actually achieve what we want. So I'm going to activate the opportunity, and what I get is I get this sales cycle called new. And if you take a look at it, the sales cycle has stages. The stages determine the process your team work through, and every stage has a set of tasks. So if we look at qualification, the qualification tasks are estimate needs, send letter, follow up, etc., etc. So there's a bit of process in here that we get. And if you go to opportunity, I can see the tasks. I've got to qualify and identify key person. So we have here on our opportunity, we're ready to go. And I go home and hit update. And this is worth $5,000. Okay. And you'll notice it's pushing us to next. Okay. So I'm going to update my work date, and sales cycle is moving to next. I could just keep it, or I can go back. I'm going to cancel the old tasks, and we've now set a value. The calculated value is $1,000, 20% of the 5. It gives you a pipeline value, and your dashboards will start showing some pipelines with some figures in them, which is cool. I can keep updating, which is cool, and it'll just keep pushing it along until you need to do a quote. So this is the beginning of where we do our sales quote, and when I hit create sales quote, it's going to push me through. I have from the client an RFQ ID, RFQ, okay, and I have a few other things. You'll notice if I show more, my salesperson codes come through, my opportunity codes come through. My warehouse location for this customer is actually set by default in the invoicing details. So now let's just pick a bunch of shirts. So I've got a classic tee, we've got black tee, we've got a navy tee, and we've got a polo. All right, and these are different prices, and I'm going to say 300, 200, 150, 35. Now that's a lot bigger than $5,000. Okay, so we put an estimation, we'll get ourselves a quote. The quote itself, you could do workflow approvals, which is a feature of Business Central, but we already set up the email before, so I can set send to email, and it will load up in front of you a preview. You can edit the email. The templates are fully adjustable. Just waiting for it. come on, man. Because it's a new environment. It's the first time we've done it. Here's the quote. Here's the PDF file. There's a example of what it looks like. So it's pretty ugly straight out of the box. So we'll look at adjusting that later. And if I want to send that, I just hit send email and whoosh, off she goes. So the email's gone. It's sent off to that email address. That's how quick it was to email. All right. And you got to decide as a business, what does release mean to you? Now, release as a function to us means when it's open. So the status here says open. If it's open, it belongs to sales. When you release it, it's a confirmation that it's sent. Release also is a trigger that you can't release it till it's approved. If you want your quotes to be approved, you can use workflows, and there's videos on that. I'm not going to get into that right now. But let's just say that I go back to my opportunity and I hit update, the figures come back through. And so it re-updates my pipeline in line with the sales quote that I've got there. So against my sales quote, I've got here, I'm going to go make an order. All right. Oh, hang on. No. And when did they request it? On the 31st. Update the lines. Yes. All right. Excellent. Now, we talked about dimensions before. Over on the right, you can see here that I've got a department code. I'm just going to fill that in. And we're not going to worry about vendor. So we've got dimension shortcuts on the side. We've got ourselves a product. We can see we're going to make it an order. Are you sure? Yes. There's an opportunity. Do you want to convert it? Yes. We want it. There's no reason codes are loaded by default. So I'm just going to go, we won because we were the best looking. So you'll have 30, 40 codes for win or lose. You get your team to select what's applicable, close the tasks. And as soon as I hit close here, that's it. The opportunity's done. The quote has been converted. Do you want to open the sales order? Yes. Now, here we are. Stock available errors. Look at this. If I go show details, it's going to start showing you we've got demand for 35 items. Do we have a substitute? No. What's the earliest available date? We've got no stock. So there's no hope that this is going to work. So thank you, system, for telling me that I have no stock. Well, there's a couple of different ways we can handle that. Demand planning works on the item when we sell it on order. So technically I could run a planning worksheet and it will tell me to order these quantities from the relevant vendor. Okay. If you want to look at your plans, so let's just refresh the chart of accounts. What you'll notice is nothing's happened yet. Okay, because an order doesn't put a value. So let's go back to net change, filter greater, like that. Nothing's happening. Okay. So I've got my, I'm going to duplicate one more screen and I want to show you some order plans. So there's 3 that might be applicable for you. I'm closing back to my home screen. So there's order planning. If I click it and I go calculate, it's going to load any sales orders that need purchasing and it's going to tell you what you need to do. So just let that thing take its time. And here it's telling me I need to go purchase. This is quantity needed. This is what we need to order. This is when we need it. Okay, so pretty cool. This is your first type of an order plan. So I can highlight these lines and delete them and clear it off. The second way that we can do it is referred to as a requisition worksheet. Okay, and when you go into that, you go and calculate a plan, same principles, but now you start entering dates. The third way for you is planning worksheets, which is the advanced planning. And this is where we start preparations, and it's about the master production schedule and your requisition plan. And you can run this with forecasting comparisons, all sorts of things there. We're not going to do that. We're just straight from the sales order. Nice and simple actions. Function, create, purchase order, go. It's popped up, who's the vendor, and I didn't set the vendor, so I'm going to choose it now as we go. All the same vendor. Look at that, hit OK. And in the other window, I'm just going to go purchasing and purchase orders. And you'll see here we've got a purchase order for Shirt Co. Proprietary Limited. All right, there's no pricing here, so I'm going to go 12, 13, 11, 11.50. Now you'll notice when I was cleaning up the data here, I didn't fix the ABN on this record. Okay, so if I go into the vendor, you'll notice there's GST missing. So if I go order vendors, let's have a look at the vendor. Scroll down, registration. It's not registered for GST. So go to abr.business. We'll use Build Dynamics. Just put the code in, ABN number, and now I can mark that it's registered. All right, really simple. Now, the problem here is that because the registration, okay, has not been picked up, I'm going to have to recreate this purchase order. So I'm going to delete it. Hit delete. All right, it's clear. And straight from the sales order, let's go back to our sales order. Actions, functions, create purchase orders. Let's go create our vendors. Now you notice on these items, the items don't have the default vendor. So that's something that we can go back and fix. Let's hit OK. All right, we've got our PO. We've got our 11, 12, 13, 11, 50. We've got our bill. And now it's going to show GST because the part is active. So you'll notice that picked up. All right. So we've got ourselves a sales order. We've got ourselves a purchase order. Still in the chart of accounts, nothing. Okay. So we're going to bring into here on this purchase order. We've got to create a receipt because on the line, it shows us that we've got quantity to receive. If I put this in here, it's going to throw up an error. So if warehouse receives required for this line because our warehouse location requires it. So you can't turn around and use these anymore. So we go create warehouse receipt. All right, now we haven't got an invoice, all right? But I'm gonna say I'm gonna receive this with the shipment number, ship. Now our clients use these devices. There you go. So it's a portable device and you get to scan things as you receive it. We're a partner of Insight Works out of Canada, a brilliant company, and our team don't use warehouse receipts on Business Central. They do it on one device. They even take photographs, and as they take a photograph of what they receive, it uploads the photos on the purchase order. But for now, just showing you traditional, when you use a device, it sets the user that received it, it documents it, and we go post receipt, yes, and we get ourselves into a situation where we now have stock of these items. So if I went into this particular item, I can see now, let's scroll over, and it shows me quantity received, and if I clicked on it, it will show me the receive record, right? But it hasn't been invoiced yet. So it's saying quantity to invoice now is there. If I go into a particular item and I go show the details, you'll see now that I have stock inventory, okay? I've got 300 on sales order, but I've got 300 in stock, so we should be good. All right, let's go take a look. Let's go back. One of the things that we'll get an invoice number. Let's put in an invoice number from the supplier. I'll upload that to the attachments. If you're doing warehousing, there'll be photographs of any paperwork and receipts, and we can turn around and just post this straight to receive an invoice. And we now have not only the goods in stock, but we've also got our bill. And so let's look at the chart of accounts, what's happened. And so we owe the vendor $8,000. There's a GST amount due and payable. I can see here that we've got purchase liabilities and direct costs applied. And then I've also got resale items just here, which is up on the balance sheet. So these are all balance sheet related transactions. Okay, nothing's happened on the P&L yet. We now have stock. We haven't paid for it. And so if I went and paid for that bill, this would all flip around from being a liability on the vendors, and you would see the asset increase, the liability decrease. Okay, sales order. We have our sales order. Here we are. And at this stage, we're good to turn around and ship it. Now, the problem that we've got, I'm going to exit out of this, is that we have a situation on our hands with this sales order. We've received the goods, but it has to be put away. And so in our configuration, the warehouse put away a staff member, so let's say it's me, gets to decide which bin this stock is going to. So this is going to go to AO2, and this is going to go to AO3, and this is going to go to BO1. So it's moving, it's taking from receive to AO1. Now, as you do this, what you'll find on doing it on the Zebras or whatever device you use, they just go bip, bip, done, bip, 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 and the whole thing, the put away is taken care of, and they register it. They just post it, and as they post it, we go have a look, it's done, and that stock now is available to be picked. Now, if it's in a receive or ship bin, you can't use it. It's locked out. It's intentional to make sure that we're not manipulating the process outside of what we're wanting the system to do. So my sales order is good to go. If I go into it and I can say, I'm going to release this to the warehouse, right? Now we've got a really cool feature with Build Dynamics. You hit release, it creates the shipment, creates the pick automatically, prints the paperwork to the warehouse and shows up on the device. Single touch transactions. I'm going to show you what Business Central does do. Recreate ourselves our shipment. Here it is. I can see that I've got to go pick this. All right, we haven't picked anything yet, so we go create the pick. And because we're using bin ranking, we might do that by bin ranking. So it sorts it all in that order. We start at the beginning and walk our way through the warehouse. I hit OK, and we go into the pick, and your pick looks like a put away. It's a take from these bins and place it into the ship bin. So I'm going to say autofill the quantity to handle, and let's register it. And then on our shipment here is sitting here via what we do when we do warehousing. We actually have a package worksheet with InsideWorks. If we click that, and it's usually on a screen in the warehouse, and it actually prints out freight labels, and as soon as they post it, it does the invoice as well. Everything's automated. So very, very quick, low touch. It's showing completely picked. I'm actually going to go post shipment and ship an invoice. And this is how we like to finish. So we don't allow finance teams to invoice anyone. It's done in the warehouse. It's done at shipment because it was set up at sale. Sale sets the transaction up. You don't leave the finance team to carry the burden of that. And so now if we refresh, you're going to see that we've got some revenue taken up. So I've got customer, I can see it on the balance sheet, and then down here now I've got revenue, right? And I've got costs. So I've got total revenue here for sales, merchandise, and I've got our cost, total cost. And so if I look at the P&L, it'll show that we've made, I don't know, 13 grand. And if we look at the balance sheet, it's showing what's going on there. And so that's really Business Central is doing everything that we wanted it to. I can go into my customer, and from this customer, I could hit actions, and I'm going to register a customer payment, or I could do it through the customer, action, register customer payment, and it's going to pop up. And from here, we just go make that payment, 23 grand. And as I go to, let's just preview this. I have an extension installed to show you guys later that I had not yet configured. So let's just get rid of that. Cool. All right. So from the customer card, let's just exit actions, register customer payments, and I could receive a shorter amount. I could say I received 10 grand, just like that. And there's a remaining amount, and we can post that. And it's done that. Or I could just receive the remaining amount, post that as well. And that's now received into the bank. So when we did the setup, register customer payments, the setup's taking that into our main bank account, into the NAB. And if we look at the customer's account and customer ledger, you'll see here that we've got ourselves what we refer to as the order. Okay, I can see the payment. So I've got the 10,000 and the 13,000 remaining amounts, everything's clear. And if I look back on the customer's record, 0, 0, 0, I can see total revenue year to date, total costs. If I use the fact box, it's actually going to show me records of the shipment, of the sales invoice. We get some statistics down here as well, which is kind of useful. So let's go back to our chart of accounts and let's start looking at our revenue. So I'm going to go down and filter by income, filter to this value, and I'm going to go to merchandise. And here I want to show you some of the cool things that have happened. All right. So now if I want to pivot this data, I can look at the dimensions that were provided. I know the customer is a large corporate, their customer ID. I've got, it's a sales transaction, the sales rep that completed it, the product ID. You could have a product group, it could have the manufacturer, it could have the vendor, which warehouse it's come. There's all sorts of stories that we can pull out of this. And when we connect the Power BI into Business Central, dimension values is native out of the box and it just works. And so if I had postcode here, on every transaction, I can do a heat map with a picture of Australia and you can see exactly where your revenue's at. Super, super cool, out of the box transactions. So to get Business Central up and running, I can see now I've got revenue. My purchase bills are not yet payable. I can see I've got an invoice to pay just here. It's in my vendors. I could go and create a payment, right? And from that, we could go and pay that particular vendor. But for today, I wanted to really just take us through this process from book to bank and start looking and showing you a couple of features. The config packs, we've showed you importing a bunch of items. We've showed you the demand planners, just how you can do it, but keeping your transaction simple, straight off a sales order, and from the actions, raise purchase order, nice and simple. So this system technically is up and running. Now, I'd like to shape it a bit more. So you got revenue, 21,000, our dashboards will start to fill out. What we want to do now is refine our setup. So we've got a few things, a few learnings. We're going to go back into our master template in our next workshop. I'm going to show you some additional things we're going to do. We're going to create a config pack for our master data we've created and move it. And we're going to create a burn test too and do some more advanced features. I hope you've enjoyed today. Please give us a like, subscribe. Thanks for your support, and I look forward to bringing the next video as part of how to deploy Business Central in 7 days.